Okay, we're live. The dogs could knock at the door, so bear with me. If they do, I'll get my computer up and running. And this is what I'm going to work on. I've drawn a picture on here. I'm going to show you what I've taken it from, which is this bag that I did a long time ago. So that is couching, and I'm going to show you how I did that. So let's get going. So hopefully you guys are hopping on. As you get on, say g'day, let me know you're here. G'day Naomi, I should say. I have my machine ready. I'm going to show you how I set up my machine. I'm going to show you what I'm going to use. I'm going to do all those wonderful things for you so that you can now do this at home. You can also do this, I'm going to do it free motion, but you can also do it with a walking foot. And some machines, good morning Terry, have a attachment that will help you. I'm going to use one of these, which is a decorative thread ruler foot. You can also use this in free motion as well. G'day Chris and Linda. So the actual foot has, I'll show you up really close. It has a little hole in the center there. And that keeps that thread or wool or whatever stuff you're using, even this, okay, will keep that in place. Okay. G'day, Christine. All right, this is, I think it's 5-ply or 8-ply. It's just wool that I found, and I thought that's pretty cool. I can use that for this. You can, as long as it doesn't have lumpy bits, you can use it. I've had this for quite some time. I have no idea where I got it from. Morning, Eliza. Liz. This will be recorded and then put up on YouTube. So for those watching on YouTube, I am recording live on Facebook. So I'm going to be talking to people as they ask me questions. I have drawn my design on with one of these, a new standard white pencil. It has like a paper peel effect like that. So instead of having to resharpen, you can just peel it like that. They're only $4.50. I stock them. I've got a lot of them. So you can sharpen it if you want a finer point at the end, but I find that, you know, I don't need it unless I'm sort of needing it for, say, a stencil or something. G'day, Marlene. You can trace out a stencil. I'm going to draw this pattern again for you guys and put it onto a piece of paper. The paper will be A4. You'll need to enlarge it so that you can get it bigger. Like I said, so for this bag, you want something, that's a fat quarter, so you want something larger. I actually lined this one, no pockets or anything, and of course quilted it as well, front and back. That was a long time ago, so, well, dogs are outside and getting bipped at. So yeah, so that's the wool that I'm going to use, and the thread that I have in my machine is a one of my cheap ones of these. It's a poly thread, so nice and cheap thread. And the bobbin, I always use my Deco Bob where I can. And I think it's a white one, doesn't matter, because it's going to get hidden in a bag, and it'll get hidden with the lining. So the fabric, it's just cotton, just a standard cotton fabric. I have put a stabilizer on the back of here. You don't have to do that. I just felt that I wanted that. Then I've also got the wadding and the backing. So I've got all layers. You can pin it down if you want to. You don't have to. I do need to find my gloves because I can't do much without my gloves. So I will do that right now. Find my quilting gloves. They're probably from when I had the show. So bear with me a second. Sometimes I keep them in a smart place, and sometimes not so smart. Bear with me. Alrighty, so I have my gloves. They're the quilter's gloves. Come on inside. It's one dog inside. So these are my Marcy Baraldis. Love these gloves. These are the best thing for quilting. Oh, there's the other dog. Come on. Come on. Come on, madam. Come on in. All right. Okay. All right. So when Sandra arrives, I could get dogs barking too. Just see how organised I am. Okay. So I'm gonna need these on for any kind of quilting at all. Hi, Elaine. Okay, so I've got my gloves on. I've got my drawn out on here. I can pop that aside. Bring my sewing machine in. And I've got my feed dogs down. This is a little switch at the side. And I put the feed dogs down. Some are electronic. All are different. Needles threaded. And I have my needle in the center position so it goes through that little hole there. It needs to go through the hole. I don't want it hitting anything. It's very close to that hole. Oh, it's because I haven't got that straightened up. I've got that still loose. All right, that explains that. Now what I'm going to do is pop my fabric underneath and put my foot in the down position. And then I'm going to grab my screwdriver and just touch it a little on that foot, just like that. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to tighten it up. I might need to adjust that, so I'll keep my screwdriver close to me. I'm going to see if I can zoom in a little. Oh yeah, I can do that. There we go. All right. So first thing you're going to want to do is actually bring up your bobbin. Oh, my top tension is set at number 6, 5.5, 6. So I'm just getting my wool. Got it all tangled up over there. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll grab a bag or a container and sit it on the floor, and I will run the wool through a handle or something like that too. Sometimes that helps. Okay, so first things first, you're going to figure out where you're going to start. Always try and start at a point, so a corner. Don't have to, wherever you like. I just want to get that thread down. Come here, little booger. There we go. I want a good hang-on piece to that. And I'm going to put my needle in the down position and I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to grab my bobbin, even though it's cut off small, because I need both in this one when I first start off. So I've got both, and I need to get my thread underneath. So down again. And what I'm going to do is pull that aside and grab my top thread and bring it out underneath. I want it under, not along the top. I just got all fingers and thumbs. There we go. So that top thread is now under the foot. I've got a hold of both, and I'm going to do a needle down. I'm going behind the needle like that. I'm going to go needle up, bring that forward, this forward, and needle down again. And then I'm going to go needle up, and I'm going to pull, hold on to that. You can lift your foot up and pull that through, and that will pull through that top thread. Now, do you want me to do that again? I can do that again. Okay. So I've got my thread at the bottom, put my foot in the down position, needle down, behind, between the foot and the needle, behind there, needle up, and grab that and pull it forward. All right. Then back down and then up again. It creates a stitch. Lift your foot up, hold on to that thread and pull it through. Hi, Lynn. Okay, grab the tail, and what I do is I pull that tail, hold on to that, but pull that tail through until I get it almost at the end, about there, and then I go stitch down. Couple of stitches, doesn't hurt to have a couple there. Now, when you're doing this, you need to work a little bit slower, go Maya. And I tend to have the wool in the direction that I'm going to sew. So if I'm sewing over that way, I tend to throw it over that way. So I'm still doing stop start, but I'm going to slow it down. That's way too fast. That's better. And you just make sure it's going in the same direction. Another hint with this is to make sure that the top thread sort of blends in well. And you can see that thread is going to turn it so I don't get that wrapped around my needle. All right, now this long tail here, trim that off. You've got a little bit of thread there. You can give that a snip too. It won't hurt it. We can go back over it just to get rid of it. Come on. There we go. Okay. So then I'm going to go around the other petal, and we're just going to tick along like this. As you get better at it, you can then start to go a little bit faster, and just make sure that wool is loose. What you don't want is this. You don't want it pulled tight. You want it nice and loose. So you get little bits and you pull them up so they're nice and loose. Now, if you do happen to miss a bit of your wool, it's no big deal. You can quite easily go back over it later. All right, I'm just going to go up the center of this leaf. And to go back, I'm going to drag that wool over that way. There we go. Just so it's right in front of that needle. Back down. So you'll look at variegated wool a little bit differently now when you go to the wool shops. G'day G. So I'm going to do the next petal. And you can see the wool's a little bit too far forward, so I'm just going to stop. Lots of stop starts, which I do anyway when I free motion quilt. And you can see that this thread, this nice polyester cheap thread, is working a treat. It's not cracking it. For those watching in America on YouTube, that would be getting, it's not annoying and getting shredding and stuff. It's a nice cheap poly. So you can see the stitches in that. That's okay. I mean, that's a part of couching. You can put it on a small zigzag if you want to, but with this foot, you don't need to. When you're using a walking foot or a, you know, like an attachment that's just normal foot, not a free motion foot, you might need to use a little micro zigzag. But on this one, because of the foot, I don't need to. Hi Lynn. Oh, I think I said hello to Lynn before. So we just go around. I'm going up there again. I'm just going to speed her up a little. There we go. That's a bit better. Just means that I have to be a little bit quicker with my wool. And just make sure that I've got it set ready to stitch. So pretty, you make it look so easy. It's not difficult. It's just time consuming. It's a slow process. That's the only thing with it. And if you see, you'll see here I've missed a bit of that there, but I can come back and stitch that down. Unless you're going to wash it, you know, if you're doing this on a quilt and you need to wash it, you want to make sure that you have stitched down all those all this wool, so you can go back around it without wool and just stitch back on what you've already done. I mean, you can do infills, you can do your quilting like this. I missed the ply size. Marlene, it is, I'm pretty sure it's an 8-ply or a 5-ply. It could be a 5 by the look of it. All right, so I've got almost back to where I started. And I've still got that little bit there that I didn't get to trim off from the start of it before. I'm not worried about that yet. I can come back to that. So I'm going to do the center of this now. And now I've moved forward. I can trim off that little tail that I started with. And I can come back and stitch that in a minute. Now again, I'm going to lift my needle, move that wool over, put the needle back down. Sitting outside, vet clinic is for last. Oh, really, Linda? God, I hope everything's okay, sweetie. At least it's a vet clinic and not a hospital. Not that that's any consolation. Okay, now I can go around a few more times, which I might just do just for the fun of it, and I can come back in and do a layer on that side. See, it's got a bit of a twist in it. You don't want that in there, so make sure that baby's out. And I can fill that whole circle in. If you noticed, when I started, I quickly moved that wool to the other side so it was in front of the needle. What happens is, if you don't, you can end up with like a knot, and it won't go through that little hole very easily. This is why you need your gloves, so you've got one hand firmly on the piece of work and the other just manoeuvring the wool around for you. But always one on the artwork, always. Alright, so I can stop here if I want to. I can keep going. I'm going to just keep going and fill that in and leave a tiny bit in the center open. And I'm going to show you how to cut this off. It's really easy. And how to stitch it in. You'll be surprised at how easy it is. I missed a bit here. You can see I missed a bit. It's straight, so I'll come back and get that in a second. Is that a special foot? I've just finished 7 phone calls from, oh geez. Okay, so just a few questions. I'm going to answer a few questions first. Is this straight stitch, Michelle? Yes, it is. Time for puppy injections. Oh, okay, Linda, that's not too bad. It's straight stitch. I'm getting there. Looks like I'll be having a week in Adelaide to get it. Oh gosh. A special foot, Heather. Yes. So at the start, I did talk about the foot. I'll go over that real quickly again in a minute. So what I'm doing here is just going back over that bit that I missed. Now, I want to stitch that in. So I'm going to cut that off. I'm just going to keep going as I normally would and then back a little. Okay, you wouldn't even know. Now, I can cut that off. And over here where I first started, that little start bit, I'm just going to get that thread so I can, up the top so I can bury it. I'm just going to do a couple of stitches over that and then cut that off. And that's what I would do if anything's missed. So if, see that one there, it's only just stitched in. Sometimes I might go back over it. If I look at it and I go, I don't know, I get my thread up the top because I'm going to be putting a lining on this, and I'll just come back in and quickly stitch that down. So it's just you've missed it when you've been sewing, but the world doesn't end, and you can come back and quickly give that a quick fix, and you wouldn't even know I've done that. It does, Shelley. So I'm going to now grab another spot. I'm going to do this leaf. So I'm going to put my foot up, grab that thread again because I want a bit of a length. I've cut my thread off underneath, which is going to create issues because it's going to be really short. Come here, little darling. All right, got it. So I'm trying to keep my hands out of the way best as I can so you can see. All right, so I've pulled up my bobbin and I've got my top thread firmly in my fingers. I'm going to put my needle down and I am going to go behind between the shank of the needle and the foot. And I'm going to wrap it around that. Might do that around my applique pieces. That's a good idea. Needle up. Now, I pushed it down to the thread and I'm pulling it forward a little bit and then I'm putting needle down. Now, I'm not pulling the needle forward because if I pull the needle forward, I'm going to smash it into that foot. And then I go needle up again, hold on to that, pick your foot up and pull that through. And I grab the tail end and I come back. I put my foot down. I grab onto that thread because if I don't, I'm going to make a mess. And I'm going to pull that back till I've got just a little tail under there. Put my needle, down again, and I might take another little bit of a step backwards and forwards, and now I'm ready to do it again. So I'm going to go around this here, go up to the point there, and I'm going to go backwards, so I need to make sure that that is on the right side of the needle. A couple of stitches. All right, now I can just come in here with my little scissors, snip that off and stitch that in. And you wouldn't know. Now I'm going to travel all around here and then back up to this one over here, and I'm going to trim off that little bit of purple so it's tight. A little bit of fluff there, I'll trim that off. I love these scissors. Come in there, trim off that thread, go back up this way, and then just stitch that in a couple of times and then cut off. Again with the cut off, Michelle, I won't be able to get my tail up. All right. Then I'm going to come around this side. Now you can see a couple of those are a little bit high, so I'm going to grab that tail of that thread because I want it to bury. And I'm going to start and go up here. Oh, a bit of a wobble. And I'm going to come back down and just stitch those in nicely. I love couching. I just don't get to do it very often. Cut that off. And again, I've cut off again, which, you know, by the way, guys, do as I say, not as I do. It's easier if you don't cut off. All right, lift up my foot, grab that tail. I'm going to, I don't know what that bang was, grab my bobbin. There it is there, little darling. Tiny little thing, because I've done the cut off. Down to mama. Grab a hold of that. I need my top thread under my foot, so I'm actually going to go down again and then up and grab it from underneath. It's the easiest way to get my thread underneath. Then I'm going to put my foot needle down. I'm going to grab my wool. Go behind that foot again. Down around the needle. Needle up. Push it down to the thread and move. I'll just give it a little bit of length. There we go. Needle down. I'm not pulling on the needle. A needle up again. Lift my foot. Hold my thread. And come through. See? Nice and simple. Grab that tail end. That's the one we want. Otherwise, we're going to keep pulling the whole ball of wool through. Come back again. And put my foot down. Firmly. Hold on to that thread and pull that through, leaving a tiny tail, and then put your needle down, and you can take a couple of stitches, and I can let that go now. Now I'm ready to go and do my next leaf, and I can tick along here. So the foot I'm using is a westerly foot. It's a decorative free motion westerly foot. You can also use it for ruler work. So you can couch and do ruler work at the same time. Go figure. You can also just free motion with it. I'm going to trim this off here. There we go. Got the two little bits. And I'm coming up to the end of this. So I'm going to need to trim that off. I'm going to trim about there. It's probably too long, but that's okay. And it's going to get stitched in there just nicely. And I'm going to come around the other one. I just love doing couching. I love the effect of it. It's so funky. It's so free range. It's just outside of a bag. Absolutely. Yeah, well, I'll show you my bag again in a minute. So that's one flower done. How cool is that? How cool is that? This is the bag. Okay. So it's a simple tote bag. You can make this with any tote bag pattern. Really pretty easy. But I will draw this out on paper for you. And you can have it, you can print it out, or you can try and manually do it yourself, and it'll be a free one. And I'll pop it up in the friends files for you. I'll do that later on today. So I'm going to now do the others. If you want to stick around, you can watch me do it. Each time I do them, they always look different. It doesn't matter if it's the same pattern, they still look different. They look cool as. And on the back, I've got a little bit of pinching there. Who cares? It's going into, there's lining going into the bag. So it doesn't matter. But if you wanted to, as long as you keep your back okay, you're still going to have, it's going to be big stitching, but it's going to look quilted, and that's the main thing. No worries, Bridget. You make it look so easy. Sometimes. All right, so let's keep going, because I've got another half an hour to do this with you, and we'll see if we can get some more done. I might speed her up a little, and we'll get into it. Might start with the leaf. I don't know if I've got a lump there. No, I haven't. I don't know what that is. It's probably creasing. Yeah, it is. Like I say, I'm not too stressed about the back. I just want the back on it, because if I have just wadding, it creates like a bit of resistance on the bed of the machine. So I tend to just put that there. You can put calico there just to take it up the stop it from having that resistance. All right, so get into it. You make it look so easy. How nice. Yeah, thanks, guys. All right, so back around again, and I'll show you that foot, Marlene, as well. So this is the foot that you need. This one. This is a high shank. I've only got high shank in stock. It has lots of arms going on. I've only got 2 in stock actually. I need to order some more. I don't know if you can see that, but right in there's a little hole that's got a plastic infill. Okay, they're the ones I'm using. Hold that, lift up your foot, pull that through, nice and simple. So any questions at all, please feel free to ask me. You don't have to just sit here and quietly, you know, pretend you're interested in what I'm doing. I think I might have shortened off. Oh no, I didn't shorten off that leaf. There it is. Trim that off. All right, like I say, I'm going to go a little bit faster just so I can get this done. I've been doing it a while, so it's sort of not my first rodeo. And like I say, if I miss any pieces, I can always come back to it. It's no big deal. I just wanted to go slower so that you guys could see the process a bit better. Oh, we're interested. Looks like my next project. Always interested in what you do. Thank you, guys. You guys are the best. I won't get my head out the door. Be all swollen and full of myself. Have a chat, we'll have a go. How much is the foot? Oh, 42 from memory. Like I say though, if you've got one that's a couching foot that is just for normal sit-down foot, you know, it's got like a little attachment that you thread your wool through, you can still do it that way. It's just a lot of stopping and starting. So, and that's fine if you got the time. Me, not so much on the time, less time, more doing. So I tend to go with what works quick for me. So if you can see, this time I didn't do any cut-offs or anything. So it just goes to show you can do it without all those cut-offs, and you can just keep trucking on around those petals. Imagine a butterfly. That'd be really cool, wouldn't it? All those colours. What was that? Are you using yarn? Yeah, Kerry, I'm using this one. It is, I think, an 8. Bloody hell, what next do they can do nowadays? It's wonderful. Thank you, Kathy. It's an old like, it's been around for a long time, couching, but most of the time they would do it by hand. Not going to live long enough to make the things I want if I got to do everything by hand, so all my projects are done on machine, as you know. It just makes my life a little bit easier. All right, I've gone around the flower. So this one, I'm just going to do a swirl in the center. Just missing that. I'll just turn it. I'm just making sure I catch each of those little bits where it came in. Little nodules. And now we're going to do a swirl. I missed here. Wait, don't be getting knots. And this is where I'll cut off. So I'll cut off here. You have you, Kerry? Yeah, it's quite satisfying, even by hand. It's very beautiful. And then go up, and I'm going to come back and make sure that I have stitched those all in and around there. All the way around. Because I know that I missed this bit here. See that? So I'm going to come back in and stitch that in, and nobody needs to know. And cut off, and that's the second flower done. See? Coolies. I've got a bit of a swirl down here, which is something random I did, which I didn't do on the other bag. I'm going to bring up my bobbin. Oh, so much for the cutting off thing. All right. And then I'm going to do a down stitch, and I'm going to put that behind the needle and between the needle and the foot, just like that. I can't tell you how hard it is to try and thread this wool through that little hole. It's just not going to happen. Not my lifetime anyway. So this is the easiest way to do it. Hold on to it and pull that tail through. Hold on to all that. Put your foot down. Pull that through and get close to that edge. Nice and close. Stitch back and forwards. Now I'm just going to do a little bit, and then I'm going to come and trim that off, just because otherwise it's going to get in my way. So I'm going to trim that off there and keep going. Pretty cool, hey? And with this pencil, like a couple of times, quite a few times, I have not gone on the lines of the pencil. I've sort of gone, yeah, that'll do. You can just iron this afterwards, and that will go. It irons out. So I'm going to come back because I want to retouch up this bit here. That was the start point. So I'm going to come back all the way around. You could use Monopoly filament. And give that a couple of stitches, trim off, and that's that one done. And I'm going to do this flower. I've got a couple of circles there. I don't know whether I want to do circles. So I'm just going to do this next flower. Come here, little darling. These leaves are pointy, which is fine. It just means I've got to change the direction of the thread a lot. So again, bear with me. Also need to, you're using a straight stitch. Yeah, I am. Absolutely using a straight stitch. I could use a really, because it's a small hole in that foot, I could use a very mild, like 0.05 of a zigzag. No point using a 0.05 zigzag because I might as well use a straight stitch. So I just use a straight stitch and it works. With a walking foot type, or you know, the foot that just a normal standard foot with the attachment, you would need to use a little zigzag. That through, bring that over, hold on to that thread, Bring her through here. A couple of stitches. It's very cool. Wait, wrong button. Now I've got that little bit there, I can trim that off. And because I do a little bit of a knot, and I can always come back and I will be, because I'll be coming back and stitching over that. So when I've got lots of little turns, I tend to have one hand on the work and the other maneuvering the thread. That takes a bit of practice. Sometimes I get it wrong. That's okay. What is this style called? Cassandra, this is couching, free motion couching. It looks amazing and you make it look so easy. Could you show us how you set the machine up for this, please? Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'll go through that again. Once I finish doing this, I will go through, reiterate on the setup. It's important to have your setup right. I am going to, Cassandra, this is the same place that have those echo feet. I still haven't ordered those because I've got to order a certain quantity and I didn't want to just order one item and you know, $400 worth of them. So I haven't ordered that. I've missed there, but I'll come back to that in a minute. I'm going to be ordering these feet as well for high and low shank. If anyone is interested, I can take orders for it, or you can just wait until they arrive, and yeah, there'll be plenty. So high shank or low shank, and I'm going to show you how to work out whether you've got a high shank or a low shank machine. All right, just missed another little bit, but that's okay. I'm going to come back on it and fix that up. Trim it off, stitch that in, come back around here, grab the part that I missed, and grab this part that I missed. Make sure I got it. Grab that little part there, and I know I missed a little bit somewhere else. Where did I miss that before? I got that. I know I saw it before. That one there. Okay, let's go over here. Stitch all that down and stitch that baby down. All right, I think we're done. Yeah. How do you know what shank you have? Yep, I'm going to do that. This is lovely. I'm going to have a go with black wool on white material. That would look awesome. This looks amazing, and you make it look so easy. Thank you, guys. All right, so I'm going to just show you this. This is it finished. So hopefully you can see it. That is the wool I used. So that is it there. I'm going to show you how I set up my machine. All right, so I screwed that foot on. That foot is one of these. Okay, all right, so it's a westerly decorative foot. It has to be decorative. It's got the hole in the center, and it's got like a plastic infill. I have my normal bobbin in, which I use is Deco Bob, so it's quite fine on the back. It sort of just blends into the fabric, but in this case, I'm going to be throwing this into a bag. Then I have my feed dogs in the down position, and I have my top tension, which is on the top of the machine. All right, my top tension, which I will adjust the camera so you can see a little bit more. All my mess in the background. That is my top tension. That is on about 6, just under 6. I have a switch on the back of my machine for feed dogs up and down, so hopefully you can see that as well. So I just flick that one way or the other. Scissor holder. All right, then I'm ready to go. I have my cheap thread on the top, which was one of these. This is a grey one. It's like $35 for 60 threads. It's as cheap as. I've just put my needle in the center so that when it goes down, I'll see if I can zoom into that. There we go. So when it goes down, it goes into the center of that hole. All right, because it has to be in the center. You can't have it to the side. If it goes to the side, I'll put it to the side. So the side, it's going to hit that plastic. Bang, bang, bang. No, no, no. We need it in the center. Okay, so you need to be able to adjust that. Is there a set stitch length? No, this is free motion, so I'm the stitch length. Whatever I do is what it will be. So if I move faster, I'll get, or slower, it'll get smaller stitches, faster, bigger stitches, depending on how fast. So when I first started, it was quite big stitches because I was going slower. And I had the machine slower, and I was moving my usual speed. So I tend to just go like I would normally go free motion. I do exactly the same thing, but I'm threading using that foot, and I'm threading that wool in. And like I said, to bring it up, I've shown you a couple of times in the video, and I will reload this up into YouTube for you. Brain dead question, that's all right. You guys will be able to sit and watch this over and over again and pause and rewind and all that sort of jazz. I use a stop-start button. That's why you're hearing the beeping. And I set it on around about half. Okay. So, and back to this. This is just a tote that I made ages ago. Zoom back out. And this is what this will get made into, but a little bit bigger. A nice big tote. Really easy. Just, square the bottom, all that jazz. I just, so I quilted around it. I just echoed. You can see I echoed. And then on the back, I just, I did those. You could cross hatch it too. Or you could do another lot of those flowers on the back and have 2 lots of flowers. Machine foot is 42. It's sort of you need. Oh, yes. Okay. And show you the high shank, low shank. Let me show you that. All right. You ready? My foot's in the down position. See that screw there, which is your foot screw. Okay. See that? If I put my pointer finger sideways like that, that screw is miles above it. Okay. That is a high shank. Okay. If you've got a Benina, you need a specific foot. This is all other than Benina. Benina is completely different kettle of fish. So that is a high shank with the foot in the down position. that is a high shank. Now, I happen to have a low shank here. It's going to be really dusty. It's been sitting in the other room for a while because she hasn't sewn on it forever. This is a low shank. See my finger? That's touching my finger. See how it's touching my finger? That screw? That is a low shank. So that's a low shank machine. It's touching my finger. Okay? So I would put a low shank foot on it. So that's up, that's down. See how far away it is? Okay. Does that help? I hope that helps. See if I can get down. Oh, there we go. Try that. Foot in the down position, so it's up, down. That screw there. That's a high shank. All right. Alrighty. Thank you guys for joining me. If you've got any other questions or you want to place orders or anything like that, please feel free to message me. Again, we will see you guys at 1 o'clock with Craft Alive TV. Bye.